I'd like to add two examples to the PowerPoint that's in the Google Classroom for grouping or factoring by grouping. So when do we use grouping? When there's four terms or more. All right, we got four terms. You can put these terms in any order that you want. You got to look for what do you see that they have in common. Do these two have anything in common? Do these two have anything in common? Heck, you could go these two if you wanted to, although there's nothing in this case. You can try to do those two. Sometimes you're going to pick two and you can't get all the way through the factoring following the bullets on the PowerPoint. Then you have to restart. So it's like a little guess and check kind of deal. So let's look here for a sample. I'll show you two different ways on this one. First, I can see, and let's face it, if they present the first two with something you see, then go with it. Why rearrange things and do more work than you have to? So I notice there's an R and I see a 4 and I see an 8. I know a common factor. 4 goes into 4, 4 goes into 8. So I can do something there. And I look over here, there's a 6, there's a 3, so we can do something with that. So let's see what happens. So our GCF here, we can get a 4 out of both of these and an R. So 4R, just like the other lesson, is outside divided by 4R. 4 divided by 4 is 1. R divided by R is 1. You're left with a Q. Plus, divided by 4R. Well, the R's cancel out. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Our goal in factoring this is that we get the same thing in the parentheses when the dust settles. So let's see. What's our GCF here? It's not going to be in variables, but in terms of numbers, 3 goes into 3, 3 goes into 6. Factor it out. 3 divided by 3 is 1, left with Q. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So we look, do we have the same thing in the parentheses? The answer is yes, good. We continue to the final step. This will be our second GCF line. We did a GCF here, third if you really want to get technical. But I see this and this common. So it gets factored out. Q plus 2. We used it. Gone. Factored out. What's left? That makes up your second quantity. 4R plus 3. Some people will write it this way, switching the quantities around. Same thing. Same thing. Okay, like I said though, I could probably do this a different way if I really, really wanted to. So let's explore. Another possibility could be for us to say, let's go those two terms. 4QR plus 6. I'm going to keep them together. Now, when you do these groupings, you notice I did it here. I had a plus sign. I always want to put a plus sign in here. And I'll show you. It makes it so much easier. So if there was a negative sign with any of these, keep the negative with it. Add opposite. Where was I? Oh, yeah. 8R plus 3Q would be the other two. So let's look for a second. Can you get a GCF here? Sure can. Can I get a GCF out of these? The answer is no. So don't group them that way. All right, what's my other option? How about this? So this is a no. I'd have to start over. What if I wanted to go 4QR plus 3Q? And then leaving us with what? 8R plus 6. So this was a no. Again, it can happen. You guessed wrong. Okay. Let's see what we can get out of this. Well, I can get a Q out of this, leaving us with 4R and then plus 3. What can we factor out of this? Well, let's look. There's a 2, leaving you with 4r plus 3. Here, we succeeded. So 4r plus 3 is what gets factored out. That's common. What's left? Q plus 2. There you have it. All right, let's try this next one here. So my point is this. You can do it a couple different ways, but there are some ways where it won't work depending on how you group them. So be careful. All right, so we're looking at our next one. Let's see what we have. So look, and here's my 4 terms. Those look like they got something in common. I can see something common here. All right, let's work with it. So I'm going to keep them the way they are. So I'll do this, and I'll do this. And again, I want a plus sign there. So now I'll show you an example in a second. Let's say we did this. I see an m, I see a 2, so 2m gets factored out, divided out. What's left? K minus 6. All right. What's common here? Well, most people see 42, 7. They say I can factor out a 7. Okay. 7 gives you a 6 minus k. We've got a slight problem here. What's our slight problem, you might ask? Well, look. K minus 6, 6 minus k. Positive, negative. Negative, positive. They're complete opposites. We need them to be completely the same. So what do? Factor out a negative 1. So nothing's changed here. 2m times k minus 6, quantity of, factor out that negative 1. So that negative 1 comes outside here, so plus negative 7 now. Negative 1 times 7. But when you factor out a negative 1, what happens to the signs? Divide by a negative, becomes negative. Divide by negative, becomes positive. Gives us a k minus 6. Now we have that. So it gets factored out, k minus 6. So used. What's left? 2m. Now, plus a negative 7 we will write as minus 7. Okay, so let me address another scenario that could be happening to us. Let's say this problem was ordered this way. So that's not changed, but it goes negative 7k and then plus 42. Just say it came to us in that order. All right, approach it the same way. I still see things here, but this is the one part I want to talk about, and that is I'm going to group here, but remember I said I want a plus sign in between them, so I don't want to group there and have a minus sign. I'm going to do this and put a plus like that. Okay, why? Well, it makes things a lot easier here in terms of messing with signs. Follow me, see if you pick up what I'm putting down here. So I still see my 2m, leaving me with a k minus 6. Nothing has changed there. But look, I can already see that the negative signs are different. All right, I need this variable to be positive. It's not right now. I need this to be negative to end up looking like this. So this tells me I'm going to actually save a step from what I did here, and that is I'm going to divide by a negative 7. Leaving me with negative divided by negative, positive. Positive divided by negative, negative 6. So it kind of saves me a step by rearranging it a little bit. Common, factor it out. Left. 2m, minus 7. That's a minus 7. So just some things to look at as you're doing that.